So this video is going to burst a lot of bubbles. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be talking about carbohydrates on the carnivore diet, specifically in the context of health and exercise performance outcomes. Are they essential? Do they help? How much do we need? Let's discuss a little bit about gluconeogenesis as well. Carbohydrates have long been believed or considered to be an essential nutrient and part of a balanced diet. However, what we know about the human body is that carbohydrates are not essential. We can provide all the glucose that our body does need to the correct degree at the right supply rate through a process called gluconeogenesis. Now, gluco refers to glucose and neo refers to new, and genesis means creation. Organs such as the brain do require some glucose, so common belief is that we must supply it with glucose through our diet. But like I mentioned, we can do that through something called gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis allows us to provide our bodies with glucose through things like, non-carbohydrate sources, amino acids, lactate, and glycerol. So notice there, I don't actually mention carbohydrate sources. In the bloodstream of the human body, there's typically only around 5 grams or a teaspoon of actual blood glucose within it. So that's how much we actually need at any given point. We don't need giant bursts of 25, 30, 40, perhaps even hundreds of grams of glucose at any given point throughout the day. Our body can create that through the process that I've just mentioned. Now, an important note is that this glucose can be stored as glycogen. That is stored in things like the liver and skeletal muscle tissue to do work, to do things. Now, it's important to mention that gluconeogenesis is an ongoing process, not something that just happens here and there and whenever. It is always going on. It doesn't actually stop. It's just it happens to varying degrees. Now, when we supply our body with less exogenous carbohydrate to give us glucose, our body will begin to synthesize that glucose through different substrates like I've just mentioned. So that's the given mechanism. Now, if you guys want a study, we can look at the work by Finney and Volek. Well, they looked at different endurance athletes and put them on a fat-based diet, or at least got rid of all the carbohydrates for the most part, I imagine. You have to look at the study yourselves, but basically that study points out that we do not need to give our body extra glucose to perform long-distance endurance runs. And what they actually found was the fat-adapted athletes were able to perform as well, if not better, than their carb-based, plant-based kind of counterparts. Now, you may have actually looked at my videos before about, the meat and fruit and honey experiment. Here's how much muscle I gained on the carnivore diet kind of video, all that sort of thing. Basically, I've quite clearly proven, at least for what you guys can see online, that a carnivore diet does allow you to build muscle and perform well in a exercise performance setting in terms of resistance training. So you've got me performing more kind of short-term, short-phase resistance training. Then you've got long-distance athletes performing very well in the studies I've just mentioned. So you've got both angles there. Part of the issue with giving our body exogenous glucose is that it tends to deliver itself in spikes. Now, this will lead to glycation and inflammation. The body is not reliant on the glucogenic pathway to do this. Therefore, you're throwing stuff at it, then it's having to deal with it. It doesn't have any kind of self or auto-regulation at hand. That's part of the problem with going about your way of training by including carbohydrates. Your body has no limiting factor to the amount of carbohydrates it can take in once you're eating them. But then, of course, glucogenesis, it does what it needs to do, but no more. That is the benefit of gluconeogenesis. An absolutely surefire, guaranteed, absolutely perfect way to ensure that you never become fat adapted like myself is to continue to consume carbohydrates. That will do it. That will definitely work for you. So think carefully about what I just said. If you're still taking carbohydrates, you'll never know if you are properly fat adapted. I've spoken to various different experts about this, and it seems to be that the placebo effect is particularly useful. We know that in science with different medications, where they've got a crossover study, you take this and take this. One does nothing, one does something, but they both seem to do something, So I think that someone's subjective experience to sort of say, yes, carbohydrates are helpful intra-workout, before or after, whatever, in that peri-workout phase of training. Yeah, they might be helpful, but not for any obvious or noteworthy biological mechanism that I can find. I'm still waiting for this science to come to me. I'm literally sat here waiting for someone to send me a study which proves that you need carbohydrates intra-workout. What I'm sure I'll get as a backlash to this video is lots of responses from trolls trying to tell me that I've got it wrong and there's something. But the thing is, like I've just said, there are no scientific studies that sway in your favor that you need carbohydrates. There are none. There are literally none. There's inferences that they could be useful, but you have to look at the study itself. Is it cause and effect? What does it underpin? Was it done over a fair trial period? Is it a reasonably well-tenured, well-made study? The chances are no. Like I said, I'm still waiting. I've been hearing crickets for this for a long, long time now. And on an additional note, there's this idea that we need carbohydrates to top up our glycogen stores. The thing is, if you actually think about it logically, what we know, we absolutely know this, is that our glycogen stores can never be depleted. That can't happen. Our body would decay immediately, would begin to die. We'd begin the death process. So if that were true, think about it, So in response to this video, I look forward to lots of troll comments and moronic ideas about what you think is right and what you think is wrong. At the end of the day, guys, you're going to get blocked, and that's it. I do enjoy making these videos, and they do help people, so that is the purpose of these videos. Sometimes I try to crack a joke here and there and make it a bit funny, but for the most part, I'm an informative YouTube channel. That is what I intend and aim to do. Now, if none of this makes sense to you and it's gone way over your head and you're absolutely stuck, book an affordable consultation that I do offer that will help you reach your goals in an efficient, safe, and effective manner. As you guys do know, I do have a bias towards a carnivore diet with no particular add-ons. However, I try to be very fair and honest in my videos, and by doing anything else just to appease someone else online, that's daft. It doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve you guys. So please consider joining my channel as a member. If you like my stuff, I'll put some stuff out in the private member section that will be useful to you guys to watch. Anyway, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and talk to you guys next time. Cheers.